Namaste. A very happy Vijay Dashmi to all of you. Vijay Dashmi is a very special day because it comes right after the very auspicious Sharan Navratrotsava. There are many specialities to Vijay Dashmi. As the name itself suggests, it is Vijaya, it is victory for Dharma. In the Sharan Navratrotsava, we saw how Devi manifested in many ways and she vanquished the evil and established Dharma. So the victory of Dharma over Adharma, the victory of the good over bad, especially celebrated on Vijay Dashmi. We also celebrate Rama's vanquishing of Ravana. So we have this Ram Leela, especially in North India. So in the South, we have especially the celebration of Devi's Vijaya. In Karnataka, the very famous Mysore Dasara has the most spectacular Jambu Savari, the most spectacular Shobha Yatra, elephant procession on this day. So there are lots of games, lots of cultural activities, lots of beautiful folk arts and music and poetry and Deshi sports and games and pastimes and beautiful doll arrangements and exhibitions and all types of stalls, all types of beautiful naivedyas and the temple pujas, processions, everything happens on this day. So it's one of the finest, most colorful days of the year when everybody is just enjoying the beauty of Sharadutsava, the beauty of Vijay Dashmi, and also contemplating on the divine Shakti, which always promotes Dharma and vanquishes Adharma. Just like every time we clean the house again, there is some dust, we have to keep doing it again and again. Every time we correct the society, after some time, slowly, some evil things begin and some social ills develop, and it can also lead to great violence where some people become very fanatic, very stubborn, and they just create a havoc in the society. So we have to counter it then and there, but as human beings we may just relax and become lazy. So we let go the evil, we compromise with the evil, and that becomes too very powerful and starts disturbing and threatening our lives. So that is when we pray to Devi and she comes in different forms and vanquishes the evil Shakti and re-establishes Dharma. So we especially contemplate on all this on Vijay Dashmi. It is our tradition, it's a very beautiful convention to listen to the story of Durga Saptashati, the Chandi Pata they call it. It has three charitas, Prathama, Madhyama and Uttama Charitra. We heard all that yesterday in the last few days. So after having listened to the beautiful stories of Devi vanquishing the demons like Mahishasura, Shumba, Nishumba, Raktabija, Chanda Munda, Madhukaitaba, Dhumralochana, all these people, on this day, on Vijay Dashmi, in South India particularly, we have a tradition of listening to the story of Girija Kalyana. So we already had a very small briefing of how Devi was born as Himavat Putri, and then she became a brahmacharini, she did tapasya and she pleased Shiva, and then she married him, and then she became Skandamata, she gave birth to Subramanya Swami, Kartikeya, who vanquished Tarakasura. So the whole story of Girija Kalyana is very beautifully narrated in different Puranas like Kalika Purana, and even Brahma Purana has that, and we have a very special text called Kumara Sambhavam in Sanskritam, composed by none other than the very great Kalidasa Mahakavi. So that is one of the most beautiful versions of Girija Kalyanam. So here let's have a small listening of that. It's called the Punya Shravana. So the story goes like this. There was a very after Sati Dakshayani self-immolated herself in the Daksha Yajna. So Shiva was very sad. He sat facing the Dakshina, the Yama's direction. He sat in great mauna for thousands of years. He was in tapasya. He was totally avirakta, totally detached. So at this time, a very fierce demon called Tarakasura was born, and he was very powerful and very wicked. So he also performed tapasya and got a boon that only the son of Shiva can vanquish me, nobody else. So this foolish man thought that, oh, Shiva will never get married because he lost his wife. He is now very detached, very sad. He will never get married and he will never have a son. So I will never be killed. But Paramatma can do anything to vanquish evil. So this Tarakasura became a very big bully in the world. He went across the whole universe and he snatched away the power and the wealth and all the lands of all the Deva, Yaksha, Gandharva, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Siddha, Vidyadhara, Manava, everybody. So now everybody was in agony and they started worshipping Devi. They started worshipping the Devi, Adya Shakti, who is now abstract. She is nowhere, she is Antardhana, the formless Devi. They started worshipping, saying, please be born again so that Shiva marries you and you can give birth to a son who can kill Tarakasura. At the same time, Himad Maharaja, who had 100 sons, brilliant sons, very, very good sons like Mainaka and so on, were not happy, were not satisfied because they didn't have a daughter. Look at this. There's a very wrong narrative outside saying that Sanatana Dharma is against women. It's patriarchal nonsense. Here we see he had 100 brilliant sons, very handsome, very capable, very strong, very noble, but they still wanted a daughter. So he and his wife Mena Devi performed tapasya, chanting the Chamundaya Vichye mantra for hundreds of years, and then finally Devi comes to them. The Dashabhuja Dharini, the Shakti Swarupini, comes and assures that she'll be born as the daughter. She assures the Devatas also that she will be born. Then she's born as Parvati, Parvatasya Putri, Himavat Putri. So Himavan is very happy. He gives her all the care, and she's the most loveliest woman with noblest qualities, great beauty, great talents, great wisdom, great skills, everything. And she grows up into a very beautiful young lady. And she's greatly educated in all the Vedas, Shastras, etc. by none other than the great Maharshi Narada. And she knew in the heart of her hearts that she is born to marry Shiva. So she had that one beautiful desire always fresh in her heart. And even her father was very eager to do the same. Now she's full grown up, she's 16 years old and she's getting ready to get married. And Himavan was praying to Shiva, oh please come, I want to give her in marriage to you. At that time Shiva just appeared and said, I want a place in your Himalaya so that I can do tapasya. He said okay, he was too happy. He created an ashrama, gave a place to Shiva and appointed Parvati for his service. So Parvati was very devotedly doing all the services, although she was a princess, very humble feeling. She was doing all the services, never disturbing Shiva. She was in no haste to attract him. And Shiva also was in a tapo bhava. Although he knew that Parvati is his future wife, he was absolutely very, very controlled. So when this was going on, the Devatas were very hasty, very impatient, and they sent Manmata and Vasanta saying, go, do something and distract Shiva, see that he starts feeling love for Parvati. So Vasanta creates a very artificial spring suddenly, and Manmata goes and shoots his flower Pushpa Bana on Shiva, and for a moment, Harastu Kinchit Parilupta Dhairya, for a moment he was slightly distracted and he saw Parvati, and for a moment he felt a little love for her. The next moment he thought, no, I am now in the Tapo Bhava. How can I be disturbed? There should be somebody who is trying to create this artificially. He looked around, he saw Manmata was there still without, he was caught red-handed, he was still holding his bow and arrow. Shiva was angry that Manmata disturbed his tapasya. He looked at him and from Shiva's third eye, Manmata was immediately burned to ashes. Shiva just disappeared from there. Now Parvati felt aghast. Oh, I never disturbed him. I never did anything wrong. Why this punishment to me? Now she cried and cried, but then she realized, oh, there is something lacking in me. Because Shiva knows that I am born to marry him. I am born for him. But why did he still not accept me? I think he's waiting for me to mature much more. What do I lack? I don't lack beauty. I don't lack knowledge. I don't lack learning. I don't lack wealth. I belong to a very, very highly elite family, and I am very devoted to him. I'm noble. I have all the good qualities. What else does he want in me? I think there is something lacking. Then she thought deep and she understood, yes, I have to become a tapaswini. Shiva is a great tapasvi, he is a yogeshwara. And what am I? I'm just a princess eating food and just enjoying the comforts of the palace. I have to overcome this, transcend this and become a yogeshwara. So she now went to Gauri Shikara with the due permission of her parents and started performing tapasya. And she did the toughest of tapasyas. She used to stand on one feet holding her both hands on the top and facing the heat of the sun, facing the rain, everything. She did very, very hard tapasya. She started giving up meals and food and then fruits, then even the juices that she would drink, then even the water. Then finally she used to live on just breath, pranayama. Then she did kumbhaka and even controlled breath. So she was doing all these very tough austerities. She would sleep on the floor. She did very tough austerities, and she gave up all her ornamentation and silken garments and wore just bark garments, made her hair into a jata. So like this, she was doing a very, very tough tapasya. She would stand neck deep in the snow-clad sarovaras, lakes, doing the Panchakshari japa. During the summer season, she would have 4 fire pyres around her and gaze at the sun from morning to dusk. So that was called the Panchagni tapasya. And during rainy season, she would stand bearing the rain open. So like this, she went on and on, did the toughest of tapasyas. All the rishis were very, very be motivated. They would see her and learn how to do tapasya. And she created an environment of great love all around in the forest that she resided. Now her tapasya was ripened. She was no longer just an innocent, beautiful teenage girl. She was now a great Yogeshwari. She had great siddhis. She was the mother of the universe. She was totally capable of becoming Shiva's wife. Now it was time for Shiva to come, and Shiva comes, but not directly. He comes in the form of a Jatila, a very, very elderly aged student, a student who is quite into his middle age, but still continues as a student brahmachari. He comes in that form and just wants to have some fun, tease her. So he asks, what is this Parvati? What are you doing? Tapasya. Why? You are a princess, you are beautiful, you are learned. What do you like to do tapasya? So Parvati's Sakhi says, no, she wants to marry Shiva. He pretends, what? Shiva? Shiva? You mean that Shiva who's wandering in this smashana, who's wandering in the burial ground? He does not have a proper home. He's wearing some blood-soaked elephant hide. He's wearing bhasma or ashes and all over his body. He has 3 eyes, looks very, very horrible. He's got all jata, and he travels on a very old aged bull. He's got all these bhutaganas, Pishacha, Vetala, Kushmanda, all these bhutaganas for his friends. You mean that Shiva? My God, I can't, I just can't believe this. Parvati, you're the most beautiful damsel in the world. You are learned, you're so sophisticated, you belong to your elite family, and you want to marry that Vairagi, such an unromantic person. No, I don't think he's the right choice for you. So Parvati says, come on, don't say all this. He's Paramatma. He creates the whole universe. Why should he be fascinated by all these riches? He is beyond everything. But Shiva continues. As Jatila, he says, no, Parvati, come on, think twice. Look, when you get married at all, if you want to get married, the first Panigrahana, you stretch your hands, then the snakes on Shiva's body will come and say, buss. It will be a very horrible moment for you. And when you embrace Shiva, he will be stinking with the ashes on his body. And you will be so beautiful with lovely unguents, very fragrant unguents. What a mismatch. And you come on a beautiful elephant on a golden howdah to the marriage mantapa. And Shiva will come on a bull with the orchestra, the horrible, terrible orchestra of his Bhutaganas. Imagine, there will be such nice music around you and such horrible noises around him. And when you go and marry and go with him to his place, he does not have a home. He'll take you to the burial ground, and there'll be ashes everywhere, there'll be bones everywhere, there'll be thorns everywhere. Where do you stay? There's no privacy there. Come on, Parvati, think again. This is not right. He goes on and on and on like this. So Parvati feels, she says, you are my Atiti, I can't scold you, I'm going, I'm leaving this place, I can't listen to Shivaninda. Then she's about to leave, and Shiva reveals his form and says, oh Parvati, I was just testing you. Now you have bought me over by your tapasya. Tell me what I should do. Then Parvati is really surprised and amazed and happy, and she feels so thrilled, and she says, okay, but I'm my father's daughter. You have to come and ask for marriage. Ask for my hand in marriage. So Shiva sends the Saptarshis along with their wives, and they negotiate the marriage of Shiva Parvati. And the beautiful Parvati is given in marriage to Shiva in the place. Today there's a Kshetra Purana. There's a place called Triyogi Narayan in Himalaya near Kedarnath, near Sonprayag, where the Kuladevata Narayan of this Himad Maharaja is there, and there's a Homakunda there, and it is still, the fire still glows there. They say that is where the Saptapadi of Shiva Parvati happened. It's a very beautiful place. So all the great Devatas, Yaksha, Gandharva, Kinnara, Kimpurushas, everybody came to watch the mega marriage, and then Parvati married Shiva in all pomp and splendor. The most beautiful, dignified, great Adya Shakti married the great Paramatma Shiva. And the marriage of Shiva Parvati is the most auspicious thing to think of, to imagine, to speak about, to narrate, etc. It's called a Punya Shravana. So now by the Shiva marriage, by their union, with their beautiful romance was born the great Subramanya Swami. And when Subramanya Swami was 6 years old, Parvati gave him her Shakti Ayudha and said, go my son, go organize all the Devatas. They're in great agony. They are very confused. They are in great trauma. Bring them together, organize them, become their leader, lead them, and wage a war against that terrible Tarakasura and slay him. So Kumaraswamy goes, he's the tiny little boy who is still the leader of the Devatas. So age doesn't matter, it is about the dynamism, the substance and the capability and the hard work. So Kartikeya leads the whole army and he goes, and there's a terrible war between Tarakasura and Kartikeya. Another name of Tarakasura is also Surapadma. So he's a Mayavi, he changes his forms into a peacock sometimes, a tree sometimes, a lion sometimes, and his own form sometimes. But Subramanya Swami vanquishes him, and just when he's dying, he repents and he says, I want to repent for all the papa that I did. So Subramanya says, okay, be my Vahana, you become my peacock Vahana. So that is how Surapadma became Subramanya's peacock Vahana, they say. And now the great marriage of Shiva Parvati fulfilled because Tarakasura was thus slain. So this is the very beautiful story of Girija Kalyana. The Girija Kalyana puja itself is performed, or the story is listened to. After listening to the story of how the Rakshasas were killed, all the terrible battle scenes we have heard and imagined. So then we listen to the great Girija Kalyana story. There are many versions of Girija Kalyana story with small changes here and there, but they're all beautiful. Any version will do, but to listen to Girija Kalyana is important. So today being Vijay Dashmi, we have had a small, fast-forwarded story, Punya Shravana of Girija Kalyana. May the great Shiva Parvati, Shiva Shaktyekya Rupini Lalitambika, she blesses with all the best, the dharmic Jagrati, Dharma Jagrati. Let her give us Ayushya, Arogya, Aishwarya and Sanmati, Sadbhakti, Deshabhakti, Dharmanishta. Let us be united. Let us not think of just me and mine. Let us think of the good of the whole Desha and Dharma. Let us live a great, glorious, selfless life and do something worthwhile in this human birth. So may Jagannatha, who has been worshipped all through in this Navaratra, and today on Vijay Dashmi, she is everywhere. Everywhere her puja, her stotra is going on. On this auspicious day, may she bring good to our great Bharatavarsha everywhere. May all the internal and external enemies of Bharatavarsha be vanquished, and may there be peace and prosperity and happiness and knowledge and wisdom everywhere in this country. May the Sanatana knowledge be revived so that Bharata itself can correct and set right all its problems and give to the whole world Jnana. With this prayer, I again wish you all a very, very happy Vijay Dashmi. Namaste.